Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I must say, I love this platform. These guys right here keeps me accountable, man. The conversation, I've been going back and watching sessions of the past, and I said, boy, you almost put your foot in your mouth right there, Ricardo. Or you heard what Deacon Dan said, or you heard what Dr. Levette said, or Dr. Coach Wilborn said, and I'm like, this is what this is about. Good morning. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and I'm joined with three other distinguished gentlemen. And this morning, we're about to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because Coach Deborah has challenged us to bring about a conversation that is supposed to add value. This morning, I want to first and foremost bring the general in, Deacon Dan. Deacon Dan just challenged me about becoming 70. Come on, Deacon Dan. I'm turning 50 next year. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. And you, sir?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. I've been traveling, and I'm looking forward to coming to Jacksonville soon because we don't have no open bridges in Texas that I know of, and I know y'all have that iconic open bridge that blows my mind every time I see it.
Okay. Well, come on, don't worry about that bridge. It's safe.
I'm coming. Next, we have, next Coach Dr. Wilborn, man. Listen, you said your son is about to graduate. That's a whole nother level. I don't know if you think empty nesting is going to be your reality, but just know that it's moves from one responsibility to the next. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking, man. And I'm glad to be here with the three distinguished gentlemen as well. And I'm ready to dive into this thing, man.
We are going to do that. Now, I don't know if you all been following Derek, but Derek has been placed on this spirit of generosity where Derek has just been blessing folks. Okay? Derek been blessing folks. I saw Derek in the mall just bless somebody with some new tennis shoes, getting people here done. Derek, brother, listen, hook a brother up, man. There's some new Jordans I would like to have. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, and I'm definitely excited to be on this panel again, being able to share with you guys, because you guys always add value. And that's the key to anything, to becoming successful, is just adding value. And I just appreciate each and every one of y'all every week. And Coach Deborah for allowing me to be on this platform.
So good, so good. So with that said, man, Derek, Coach Wilborn, Deacon Dan, we got people showing up. If you're watching us for the very first time, if you're watching us this morning, do me a favor and share this. Share it, tag somebody. Let me tell you why. This morning, we're going to be talking about what's the fastest way a man can ruin his life. Ooh.
That's a big one.
Oh, man, that's a big one. And so going right into this, Deacon Dan, I want you to roll back the curtain a little bit because you exposed your age early on. I want you to roll back the curtain a little bit, okay? And I want you to start thinking about your younger self. Did you ever consider how your words and action would impact your life? Did you think about that? Or was it your parents that really pushed it? Or you didn't get it until later?
Well, I thought about it. I think I got it around 16 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things is about speaking or talking too much. I mean, you have good friends and all like this, but sometimes when you go and say something to them and that you shouldn't have said it, you should have kept it into yourself, to yourself, it causes a problem. It have an impact on your life.
Yeah.
And that showed me that you have to be careful of what you say to your friends or what you do. Because what could happen, I'm gonna give a little small example. I think I'm around maybe 16 years old. Speaking about a young lady, one of my closest friends.
All right now.
And well, he turned around.
Was that friends with benefits back in the day?
Yeah. He turns around and go back and tell the young lady. So, that's why I say talking. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Who you talk around, what you talk around.
That is so true. So true. Coach, Dr. Wilborn, your experience looking back, have you really thought through that whole process on how you got the revelation? Did you get it late or you got it early on like Deacon Dan?
I think I got it early because I had one of those parents that always says, your actions, has consequences. And they always, I had a lot of brothers, okay? And I used to watch them get in trouble a lot. I had older brothers and I had younger brothers, and I used to watch them get in trouble a lot. And a lot of times they would say things they had no business saying, or their actions, were vindictive to everything that they were supposed to be doing. So my parents used to always say, watch what you do, watch what you say, because people that you think that's not listening, they are listening, So I got that early. I think I got that kind of early. I was one of the ones that used to run my mouth too, and especially in school when I was in elementary school. And I got in trouble more so, not for being a bad person, but for running my mouth a whole lot during class time. So, I was like one of those type people. So I got it early.
Interesting you said that. My son just graduated from the National Guard Army.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I had to top him out, Dr. Wilborn. I had to go out there and find him in that, 1,071 soldiers, and they all looked alike, But when he and I sat down, we were on the base talking. He said, "Dad," and a couple of the guys around him, they said, "Miller, what happened, man?" He said, "Dad, I had gotten in trouble." And watching, I turned around, I said, I bet it was your mouth. Derek, looking back, did you get the revelation early, or it was not so long ago? It was more in this formative years of Derek at this stage, or did you get it early? Talk to us.
That's actually a very good question. I didn't get it until I was sitting in a prison cell reading self-help books.
Wow.
And that's when I came to the idea that your thoughts, what you say, and what you do are the trilogy that makes you up as a person. And so I had to, as reading the book, I learned that first off, our 5 senses are just receptors of information. We take that information in, it goes into our brain, we get thoughts.
Yeah.
Therefore, our thoughts are the foundation of first what we say, and then second of what we do. So through that's when I really tapped into actually understand that if you change your mind, you can change your behavior. You can also change what you say. And so that's when I really stepped into it.
That is so good. Listen, guys, if you're watching and you shared this, please put it in the comment section and let us know. If you're on YouTube, put that notification bell up. We want to know that you are now plugged in to be able to watch us whenever. Now, going back to you, Deacon Dan, I want us to, let's talk about, give us quickly two actions that you, like in your life. You were in law enforcement, but you also raised some children, some boys. You saw them shifting from one season to the next. You work in church, and you see 2 actions that will cause a person to ruin their life. The quickest way to ruin your life as a young man, what would be 2 of those actions you would say?
I'm gonna speak about the one of the main one of my actions about lies, especially when you lie to a loved one or a close friend or something like that, and that breaking the trust.
Wow. Yeah.
So you got to keep the trust. You ain't got to lie. I mean, so they always told one lie. You tell one lie, you got to tell another one. Get out of that one.
Yeah.
So and that's breaking the trust. But that's something that's very important. You don't have to lie.
Yeah. You don't have to lie. Come on. I'm going to post that later, Deacon Dan. I'm going to post that on Facebook. You don't have to lie. Come on, man. What's the other one?
Another one I got is following your passions without proper planning and a backup plan. Okay. So if you got passion, you got to follow them. You want to follow them, but you got to have a plan. You got to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Because other words, what I'm saying is, I'm just gonna follow this plan here, and that plan don't work.
Wow.
And you ain't got anything to back you up.
Wow.
That's gonna be tough. It's just like when I was out down law enforcement. I'm working with criminals, and if I get myself in a situation where I'm gonna need some backup, I got to have backup.
Yeah. Yeah.
In order to keep myself safe, so I can go home at night to my wife. Those are the 2.
I like that one. That is different. What's your backup plan?
Right.
I don't know if any of you guys have bought a car lately, a new car, but one of the things they doing now is, man, they ain't putting those spare tires in these cars.
No, they're not.
They ain't putting those spare tires in these cars. And that's a backup plan for you on that freeway and out there in the country. I know Coach Dr. Wilborn, y'all ain't got no country out there. Y'all all concrete.
All concrete, man. All concrete.
Talk to us. What would you say? You work with a lot of young people. You see talented young people. And over the years, what would you say would be 2 things that just outright ruin a young man's life?
I'm going to tell you, the first thing that I've, saw that ruins a young man's life is that drinking, smoking, and, drugs, period. Yeah. Because we're living in a time and age now they legalizing marijuana and the whole 9 yards, and not speaking against anything right now. But I'm just, putting it out there that now it's so freely, they're doing that. And it's like, people just taking to it. They out there trying to get cards so they can, medical cards, so they can actually, smoke the drugs. But these young kids, nowadays, man, they have no, regard for anything. They're doing that in school. They're doing it outside school. They're doing it outside in front of people in the whole 9 yards. So those are one of the things I think that's ruining, young men's lives right now, drugs.
It's interesting you said the drug thing. I told my son, I said, hey, man, you're on that college campus. I said, I just want you to know, man. I said, listen, 5 guys smoke a joint. 4 of them walk off, have a career, have a family, and they're doing fine.
Right.
1 of them are now addicted and loses his family, and he becomes a street dude that literally can't get control of his life. We don't know which of the 1 out of the 5 is gonna have the, because you think you're gonna be the one. Oh
Right.
man, everybody's taking it, but then 1 out of 5 normally. And so I tell him, I say, stay away from it, man.
That's right.
Like you just said, it ruins his. I say it's a kryptonite, man.
Kryptonite.
And here's the deal: our family history. My grandfather had an alcoholic issue. I told him, I said, don't get that bottle, man. You get that bottle, before you know it, it becomes a virus, man. It becomes an addiction. Derek, when you look back over your life, when you look at young men today, 2 fast ways to ruin a person's life.
I'm really surprised nobody said association.
Wow.
Yeah.
However, I want to give a different approach to the question, because we can make bad decisions. We can go down the wrong road. We can do a lot of things that has the potential to ruin our life. But I feel like, because I'm just telling you from my experience, you can make a terrible decision, and it won't ruin your life unless you give up.
Well,
the only time you really ruin your life is when you stay in your mess.
yeah.
People overcome addiction of drugs. People overcome different things. Yeah. But if you get stuck in it and you give up and you don't fight to get out of it, that's the main thing that really ruins people's lives. Wow. Getting stuck into the mess instead of coming out of it. And, because once you come out of it, different doors, different opportunities open up to you. And I'm a living proof of that. Yeah. I'm here with y'all right now, even after being in prison for 17 years.
Yeah, that's so good there. Thank you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we're talking about what's the fastest way a man can ruin his life. If you are joining us, put it in the comment section. We want to know what you think. You know what I'm saying? What can ruin your life? Some people say, man, having sex without a condom will ruin your life. That's what will ruin your life. Somebody will say that your temper will ruin your life. Hey, watch this. That sticky hand. You're a kleptomaniac. You know what I mean? You can't help yourself taking things you don't eat. I remember, guys, I was a children's pastor. We put the bowl of candy in the front of my office, and I had this glass. I could see out, they couldn't see in. And I put the candy there. These kids came in, and I saw this boy walked around. He looked like this. When he looked like that, I was like, Deacon Dan, you know that look when you see them do that. Like, okay, I'm from the streets. I know you up to something, man. So he looked like this. He looked like this, and then he walked over there. Now the thing says, it says free candy. But watch this. He walked over there. Look. Then he grabbed the back and put it in one hand, and then grabbed the back. And I walked. I said, "Hey, what you doing?" "I'm not doing anything." I said, "Man, you got some of them candies?" He said, "No, I didn't get any of them candies." I said, "Man, you didn't take none of the candy?" "I didn't take none of the candy, sir." It's free candy, Hey, it's free candy. And what happens is, we got Brady Robinson joining us. Thank you, Brady, for joining us. Listen, guys, put something in the comment in regards to what will ruin a person's life. I mean, there are some people, Deacon Dan, you know this. They ruin their lives from things that just makes no sense. Let me ask you guys this. In your own words, explain Proverbs 12:15. The way of the fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. He who heeds counsel is wise. Coach Dr. Wilborn, what you say on that?
I say, in my own words, they're saying someone that's hard-headed, someone that just don't want to listen. They're not, they're intelligent, but they just see things, their way and not wanting to see things, someone else's way, but the thing is, they just don't want to listen, and they refuse, to let sound advice penetrate, their head or whatever. So that's what I'm thinking, and you have a lot of people that's like that.
Yeah.
I think I was one when I was younger,
So you were a knucklehead? You were a knucklehead. You were a listener?
Man, I ain't listening to nothing, man. I thought everything that I was doing was right. And you couldn't tell me nothing because I just knew it all, but, I think at one time or another, all of us was like that in one way or another.
Yeah. What break you though? What break you? What was the turning point for you? Did somebody beat you up? Did you get slapped? Did you get robbed?
I got beat up. Yeah. I mean, but that's not what broke me. What broke me was, that I've seen a lot of people, that were like that. And I've seen how their life, turned for the worse, by not being able to take sound advice and not listening to people or whatever. And that was enough for me. After I got a certain age, I just figured like this, listen to someone that's wise, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And, you'll succeed, if you listen, so that's what I think about that situation.
Let's go to Derek. Derek, what do you think of that? I like Derek said earlier, he said, listen, guys, you can come back from mistakes. You could have done something that literally in the moment it ruined your life, but because it didn't take your life, hello, somebody, you can make a comeback. Derek, what you think about Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15? The way of the fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise.
And I would like to reference another scripture, and that is, lean not on your own understanding.
Yeah, come on.
When you're starting out and you're fresh, you're young, you're in your teenage years, you have so much information that you're receiving because you have so much access to it. Yeah. And if you don't, just receiving the information is one thing, but you have to process it properly and effectively in order to be able to apply it to your life. And so that's where that wise counsel comes in. Not just counsel, but wise counsel, because you can take information from anybody.
Yeah.
But if that person doesn't have any experience in the field that they're talking about, and they haven't been through certain things that they're trying to, quote unquote, help you get out of, that counsel is not wise counsel. It's so many times we hear people give relationship advice, and the person that we're receiving that relationship advice from doesn't even have a successful relationship.
Wow. Yeah. Right.
And so with that, we definitely have to get counsel, because Mr. Miller, you have been that counsel in my life and coaching me through certain situations, and without the counsel that I got from you. And it's only because you have experienced those things. I'm trying to be a great speaker. You are a great speaker. I just witnessed that with my own eyes. And so not just any counsel, that is the most important part. Don't lean on your own understanding, and not just any counsel, but make sure it's wise counsel.
Man, listen, Derek, with you saying that, I'm going to just go ahead and do this publicly and tell Deacon Dan I'm booking an appointment while we were on the cruise so I could pull some advice. Because listen, what the script is, I don't want to lean on my own. I won't get to 70. I'd be like you, okay? Come on, man. You did it, man. You know what I'm saying? Next year is my 50th. But this year, I want to sit down with you and say, hey, sir, looking back at me, because, 20 years differentness, you can look and see a knucklehead behavior. And some people think they got it going on. And somebody who's in front of them be like, he's a mess. Let's go on, Deacon Dan. Help us out, sir. What's your view on that scripture?
But my thing is a person who trusts in riches instead of God, he's a fool. I'm gonna roll back like Derek did, another verse, Chronicles 1, verse down 29, telling you where everything you get comes from God.
Yes.
So, you need to trust in God and not in riches. Because, you know, one thing about riches, they fades away. And God, He's here the whole year, forever and ever. Talk about what you was talking about, how, you know, back in your days, how what things that you used to do, and then you don't change and then realize that, okay, wait a minute, hold up. I'm not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I gotta change.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell a lot of young men, you know, like Derek says, you know, and you got to trust in God, but not need to your own understanding, because sometimes your own understanding can get you in a whole lot of trouble.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I look at it. Because I had a young man, he's involved in a good sized theft. I was a little upset because I had to go in on Memorial Day when we expedited him back to the city and go and interview him. Well, he finally broke down, and I don't, you know, hey, I don't pat myself on the back, but sometimes I can make you cry. You know, and this guy's 29, he done broke down, he started crying. I said, well, I just look at it and said, well, Lord, I got him now.
Yeah.
So he'll come out truthful, and he said what he did. And now I'm gonna preach the gospel to him.
Yeah.
I just tell him you should have thought about it before you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Should have thought about it before you did it. That's sort of in line with what Miss Cynthia put in the comment section. If you're listening to us this morning, we're talking about ways young men, ruin their lives, the fastest way to do that. And so this morning I'm talking with these three distinguished gentlemen, and we just really want to bring some stuff to the front, because a lot of times we wish someone had said this and nobody said anything, and then we're wanting better, but there's nothing being said for better. And so I love it that Brady Robinson is listening to us this morning, and you know, and Miss Cynthia is listening to us, and all of you guys who are listening. Thank you, David, for listening. Thank you so much. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening. This morning, I want to ask this question: among payers and money and reckless living and disregard for authority, what do you believe is the number one cause for a young man's demise? Let's lean into that. What do you? We're talking about his demise. You'd be like, ooh, right there. Let me. For me, I'll kick it off. Mine is an unwillingness to respect or learn from authority figures who's trying to help them. You know, because you know, I teach someone is assigned to help you, and then you have access to someone who's assigned to help you. They're trying to help you, and you dismissing them. Man, you're gonna feel it. That's going back to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. You are going to feel it. And so the quickest way is to disregard wisdom. Mine says disregarding wisdom. Let's go ahead, Derek. What's your view when you think about the quickest way for a young man demise when it comes to just totally messing up?
And I just really want to piggyback off what you just said. Now let's think about this. Not listening to the authoritative figures. And so me being the young man that I was, I had coaches, I had individuals that came into my life that really wanted, and they saw something in me that at that time I didn't see in myself. But these coaches, these individuals, they're telling me, but where's the example? That's as a young man, we're looking for the example. You can tell us anything. But if you're not living it, if we're not seeing the fruit from your life, then why would we follow?
See, now you're messing with my sermon for tomorrow. You're messing with my sermon, Derek. You know, Coach Dr. Wilbur, what's your view on this whole thing? You know, what do you believe you see that becomes the reality for a quick demise?
Well, you know what? All of those things that you just said, you know, go hand in hand. You know, money, reckless living, you know, disregard for authority, all those go hand in hand. But I would say reckless living, you know, although, you know, disregard for authority would have been my number one as well. But reckless living, I've seen a lot of people just, you know, they're good people. You know, they hard headed. You know, and they just start living reckless, and by them living reckless, just turned their life, you know, to shambles. And I've seen a whole lot of that with the young men, and you know that I've been dealing with, you know, over the last 30 years. You know, you have someone, you know, that make it, then you have some that's just trying to get out of that, you know, barrel. But the ones that does not make it, you know, they start living recklessly. You know, they stop caring. You know, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Coach Wilburn. You're a coach. You know, you're at the campus, you're on the school. I've now come to that conclusion. I'm at that stage. That's why I'm going to sit down with Deacon Dan on the ship and say, hey, sir, what do you see? Right? So, Deacon Dan, you got about 2 months to pray and make notes of what you see about me that I can work on with me, right? But do you agree, or can you share with us your opinion of being at your stage in life where you could literally, somebody walk in the room and they open their mouth and you spend a few minutes with them and you're like, knucklehead. Or
Yeah.
talented, but he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the potential to be great, but I'm ahead of you, man. I'm coach. I'm the doctor. I'm the instructor in front of this room. I'm 20 years ahead of you, 30 years ahead of you, 40 years ahead of some of these knuckleheads. And what's your view of that? Because a lot of people, that's what I'm trying to do in this stage of my life. I'm looking at, in Rotary, I have our president is, I think, 81. You know, and I'm like, I'm sitting at the feet of 81. I want to sit at the feet of 71. I want to sit at the feet of 68. I want to sit at the feet of those who are in front of me, because I believe when I was younger, I did not understand the power of sitting at the feet of someone 25 years ahead of you, 10 years ahead of you. What's your view on that whole element of seeing it before they even think you actually captured? Some people don't even think you could see their crap.
Well, in my lifetime, in young men that does that, they have no understanding. It's all about them. They're correct. And we'll go back to this where you cannot be corrected. So if you can't be corrected, you in trouble.
Ooh. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because even at my age, I still stand to be corrected.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If I see something that's, you know, where I come in, but you got to, you know, the young men's got to have, they can't live, they ain't like money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them say, well, you know, I got to have money. Yeah, you got to have money to live, but you ain't got to have money to buy excessive stuff or by means of, let me, what word I'm looking for. Well, being reach into your pocket and just get anything that you want to get. Because it takes a sound decision when you have money that, you know, what you need is provided by God. What you want now is a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what you want is, how do I save? You think about saving? No, you don't think about saving. You just want it now. So those are some of the things that the young men need to look at. They can't, you know, and figure of authority. Back in 75, when I started in law enforcement.
I was born in 75.
But back then, you can talk with young men and they respect you. Now, don't have you know, authority figure don't have anything, don't have no authority over anybody else, you know, because these young guys, they don't, some of them, I'm not going to say all of them. They do not show what, you know, effectiveness that authority have over your life. If I'm going in the wrong direction, I tell them, hey, man, you need to stop now. Yes, sir. I apologize. I'm sorry. Hey, man, you need to stop now. You these days, hey, you're going about your business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the one. So when they do something like that, sometimes I just snatch them up and put them in the corner. You know, put them in the corner. I hate to say it, but you know, you put the cuffs on them, and you know they're tough. They feel like they're tough. They feel like they're better than you, stronger than you. what come to find out, my training or what I've been taught how to handle, physical force is different what you've been taught or what you know.
Yeah.
Break them down.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have time to sit up there and run my mouth with you because I need to get you where I need you right now.
Wow.
And then I can sit you down and talk to you. I had my youngest was 9 years old. 9. And they're involving, I think they had about 10 brand new vehicles coming off of a lot that they had stolen. Well, he was driving the one that come off and went down the railroad track. He hit a car at an intersection and turned the car down the railroad track. He bailed out. So anyway, I'm going to do this short scenario. I saw him. I looked down at his feet, saw rust on his tennis shoe. So I said, okay, I know him. This is the one that was driving vehicle. He said, no, I was just riding in it. So that's the thing. I said, that's your thing. You just riding in it. I said, but you was driving this vehicle. No. Yeah, I said, yes, you were. So he started crying. I said, okay, tell me. I tell you what you do. If you don't want to admit to driving the vehicle, tell me who other person was involved with you. And he just goes out and tell. I said, because first of all, you scared of them. I said, you're not scared of me, but you scared of them. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's some of the things that they do wrong. I mean, they like to hang around. 9 years old, you hang around these boys 17, 18 years old, you still in the car. You really don't know how to drive.
Right.
You still the police intercepted those the Crown Vics we had. They don't know how to drive. But anyway, that's some of the things I like to put them in a corner.
Yeah.
I really do. I like to put them in a corner. But the quickest thing to get you to the mind is if you do not understand what God has given you and what direction you wants to go, that's one of the quickest ways a young man can be, demise.
Let me ask y'all this question. This is a little off the cuff. Do you have to manhandle them every now and again? Because I heard you say you put them in the corner. Now, some people don't want to automatically go in the corner. So is manhandling still a thing? Or, I know the law, but I'm talking about every now and again. I remember when RJ was probably about 14, 15. This was the last time he and I worked it out after this where I didn't actually have to manhandle him. But we were able to talk through stuff after that. But I just grabbed him up at the throat, just reminded him, but only one lion in this house, right? Gentlemen, in 1 minute, give me a quick view on the whole concept of who's in charge. How do we present that case? Come on, in 1 minute, quick answer. Let's go with you, Coach Wilborn.
Okay, you said who's in charge?
Yeah.
Well, you let them know, right off the bat. They should know who's in charge anyway. You set that foundation. You set that precedence. You let them know, hey, I'm the one, I'm with the experience. I am the one that's showing you. You should be getting everything from me. You should be able to see exactly, how I'm living, how I'm teaching, how I'm doing things. You set a precedence for them. You let them know that, hey, you're not the boss until you're the boss. And you're not the boss. If you ain't paying no bills, you're not a boss. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now. You're living up in my house, you're doing what I say, you're not a boss. Until you do that, until you out there making your money, until you're being able to take care of yourself, or your family or whatever you plan on doing later on in life, then you're the boss. So by setting that precedent, letting them know what's going on and being in that type of environment, putting them in that type of environment will set that precedence for them. Why are you sitting there laughing about that?
I like it, man. I like it. Derek, go ahead, man. Tell us how have you navigated around that energy of having to be like, hey, you ain't in charge, like Coach Wilborn said, man, you ain't got your own house, you ain't got no keys.
Right. And when I think of in charge, I think of leadership.
Yeah.
And keys to leadership is first you have to cast a vision. You also have to be able to communicate. But most importantly, when it comes to leadership, you have to be accountable. Mm-hmm. No matter if the ship sinks or swims, as the leader, you are responsible. It doesn't matter if you actually did what caused the ship to sink or swim, but as the leader, as the person in charge, the main thing about leadership is actually taking accountability for the outcome of the individuals that you have around you.
Deacon Dan, who's in charge?
I let them know that I'm in charge. There's no if, buts, and it's buts and hands about it. I mean, if I got to grab you by the collar,
Yeah,
and put you against the wall, I don't mind doing it.
right.
You know,
Deacon Dan, you
I don't care how old you are. I'll tell them in a minute. I'm gonna tell you a quick little joke. My mother was 5'2", probably about maybe 125 pounds, right? And she used to tell us, I'm tell you what now, if you be bad or don't want to be, behave me or do whatever I tell you to do, I got a 22 and I will shoot you in the foot.
Wow.
You know, and she carried that to her grave. She would shoot you in the foot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shoot nobody, but hey, if it takes me to grab them, and like I tell them, I say, we joking kid. I had two sons that was in law enforcement also, and they come in and they want to show off a little bit. That's okay. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't give them enough time to think what they want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I need to do and let them know I'm in charge.
Yeah.
So other words, I'm gonna preach and teach what I live. I'm gonna teach and preach what I live. I'm gonna preach and teach, and that's what they let them know who's authority.
Come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sporting Man, we've had such a great talk. We show up here because we want to add value to you and bring about some light and some understanding, just something for you to be able to take back to your parenting responsibility, something for you to take with your life to build your best life. And so this morning, I want to ask these gentlemen, as we get ready to close out our talk, provide us with 2 tips on learning and maintaining an effective life that will lead a young man to building his best life. So, hey man, in the midst of it, if you practice these 2 things, you don't have to elaborate long on it, but just practice these 2 things, it'll move you forward. Let's start with you, Derek. What's those 2 things that comes to mind?
The first one would be what you tune into, that's what you turn into. So what that means is what you allow yourself to see, watch, social media, all the things that you allow into yourself, it starts to become a part of you.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, keep it quick. So the second thing would be becoming a great communicator, because in any type of negotiation or any type of situation, if you have the ability to communicate effectively, you are more equipped in order to find a solution with someone else instead of having to jack them up and put them against the wall. And so communication is definitely one of the great things that I feel like an individual should, just put into his tool belt in order to help him fulfill his life.
Deacon Dan, let's go ahead with you. You've been, like you said, in law enforcement. You've raised some boys. You've seen some stuff. What 2 things you would say, hey man, you lean into these 2 things, man, you are going to more than likely end up well. What comes to mind for you?
Well, my first thing I always tell them, believe in God.
Yeah.
There's no way you cannot leave him out of your life. You got to believe in God.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. You take him with you.
Yeah.
You go travel the road, take him with you. You go to bed at night, talk to him. You ain't got to be dressed up or whatever. Just talk to him. Yeah. And secondly, you got to believe in yourself.
Wow.
Establish what you want in life. Yeah. Because your main thing, I always told them, hey, you're going to have children. Yeah. And how are you going to, respect them, and how they going to respect you if you're not being respectful to your father, your mother. Yeah. So that's what I tell them. And also, I'm gonna tell you this small joke. I had one of my oldest one. His mother said something to him, and he raised his hand. I happened to look up. I saw him do it, right? So I just put him over to the side. He remembered this to him today. I said, son, if I ever see you raise your hand again, I'm gonna break it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he told me, what got me about 3 or 4 years ago, we were talking about something. He said, yeah, my dad told me he gonna break my hand, so I'll raise my hand.
That's what I'm talking about, man. All right, Coach Dr. Wilborn, what do you say to us this morning? The 2 things that stands out to most. You're a coach, you work with a lot of young people. What's going on?
I always tell my kids, stay positive. You know, a lot of things is not going to go right. You know, things happen. You know, plan. You know, set a goal. Try to stick with that goal. If for some reason that goal does not work, don't deter. Don't give up. Keep going. You know, set another goal. You know, because everybody's goals are not going to be met. You know, so if your goal is not met, it's not over. Your life is not over. It's other things that you can do. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, you know, young men get deterred because they got their mindset on one thing and it doesn't work out, and then they start freaking out. I tell them, you know, just stay positive. That's the first thing, you know, and just know that it's something out there for you. It's going to happen. Stick with it, plan, have a goal, and just keep at it. And before you know it, you know, you'll be where you want to be in life. So those are my two things: positivity, plan, have a goal.
Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, we love what we do. That's why we show up and we try to be honest and transparent and real just to help. We want to help mothers with sons. We want to help young men. Why are we focusing so much more on young men? I don't know, but if you've been watching the Olympics, Coach Wilborn, I heard a report this morning that I think this is the first time in the Olympic history the American medals that were won more by women than by men.
It is, yes.
That more medals were won by women this Olympics than that of men. And so women are doing their thing. Hats off to the ladies doing their thing. But we really do need to encourage our brothers to step up to the plate and become who God has created them to be. And that's why I love what Coach Deborah has done in establishing this platform, because you know, woman power has really taken off, and hats off to it. It needed to take off, but we also need to remind our brothers they too have a responsibility to build their best lives so that their families can do well. Okay, and so Miss Cynthia, girl power is real, right? Girl power is real, and so we love adding value, more specifically to men, to young men. So I'm going to pray out. And if you have a young man and you want us to pray, put it in the comment section. All of us go back and read through the feed. We'll pray for them. If you know someone that this content will be a blessing, share. Thank you, Miss Cynthia, for sharing. Thank you for the rest of you guys who have shared. Let's close out and pray. Thank you, gentlemen.
Coach, before you close out, let me say this.
Yep.
I don't know about other fathers, but every day I get a chance. Well, no, I ain't get a chance. Every day I make it a point to call the kids and pray with them.
Wow. Yeah.
If I haven't reached them at a certain time, especially my daughter, she called. I hadn't heard from you, Daddy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so
good.
I make that certain point. That's something that we need to do for our kids. Just pray for them.
That is so good.
Most definitely.
So good. Thank you, guys. Listen, guys, pray for your kids. Try to be as involved with your kids, and what you don't understand, get help. Okay, someone is assigned to help you. Father, we thank you for this early morning conversation that we've had. We've been doing this for a while now, and we believe, God, that there are a lot of people who are listening and learning. And so we ask that you will bless the listeners, that the information that was shared will fall on fertile ground, and it will produce fruit that remains. We bless Build Your Best Life, this organization. We bless Coach Deborah for her heart and a passion for the next generation and for helping young men. And so we ask, God, that you will allow all of us to have a great day and a phenomenal weekend. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen. God bless you guys. Hey guys, thank you so much. Today was awesome.
Yes, it was.